Will, the video game attorney. That was today? What do you mean? What time is it? Oh, I'm late? I'm on my way. I'm on my way. Just hold on. I'm on my way. The Legend of Zelda: A Link Between Worlds is a sequel to the 1992 SNES game, The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. The game takes place in Hyrule once again, features a few new faces, and a few new mechanics.
The good.
The game's music is amazing, from reoccurring sounds from the predecessor, such as the field themes and the opening title theme, to new sounds found within the game, such as boss battle themes, dungeon themes, and just new themes of the new characters that show up, such as Hilda. The new painting mechanic is so simple, but yet so amazing. There are multiple times in which you feel stuck because of this simple mechanic. A few puzzles in dungeons put this mechanic to the test, and there are hidden puzzles that you find that put your faith in the mechanic to the test. The game is overall fun, which a Zelda title should be, from exploring the familiar territories to going on the large magnitude of side quests the game has to offer, such as finding the baby Miyamis. There are 100 total, scattered throughout Hyrule and Lorule. Another reoccurring side quest is finding the bottles and heart pieces, and there's also Master Ore that you can find that allow you to upgrade your Master Sword to a stronger weapon later in the game.
The game is not linear by any means. After you get through the first 3 dungeons, you're sent to find the sages. And at that point, you're not required to find any of them in any particular order. There's one dungeon that you're required to have the sand rod, and you don't get the sand rod until you find a certain sage. But besides that one dungeon, everything else is up to you to find. There's 2 plot twists in this game, but these plot twists aren't revealed until the very end. The first plot twist is pretty obvious the moment before it's revealed, but the second plot twist, it just leaves you awestricken. And to this day, I'd rank it probably within the top 5 plot twists in a Zelda game within the last decade. The bad.
Dark World, Lorule, is a ripoff of Dark World. For the most part, Dark World from A Link to the Past and Lorule from A Link Between Worlds are the same place. Large cracks here and there make it less accessible. Certain things from Dark World aren't there. I wouldn't complain, but in no way, shape, or form is it communicated to the player that Dark World is not Lorule in the game. It was stated in interviews about the game, but not the game itself.
The game tries too hard at proving it's a sequel to A Link to the Past by throwing every possible reference it can think of at us. From the way to get the Pegasus boots, to the first dungeon, to the overall terrain of the maps. Not to mention, because of this, veterans of the previous title will feel cheated when hidden things they knew were on the old map are on the new map simply because they didn't add it in. Saving requires to find a checkpoint that's somewhere on the map. It's easy to get these and it's easy to travel to these, but it's annoying because every time you try to travel to these, there's a certain cutscene. And it's always there. There's always a cutscene. And to talk about something that doesn't even matter. Not only that, but at times when you try to save, the game tells you that you've been playing for a while and you should take a break. These scenes cannot be skipped. Talking about scenes that can't be skipped, there's a cutscene as Link moves between Hyrule and Lorule. That takes a little bit of time, and that can't be skipped either.
This is just a personal gripe. However, I see from the previous Zelda titles, of Link's Awakening and below, Zola being the aggressive aquatic beings, and Zora being the friendly ones. In A Link Between Worlds, it's stated that all aquatic beings are Zora. There are quarter hearts in this game. Don't let the early game fool you. I, for science, took a hit from a bee just to see if they got rid of quarter hearts, and went back to the half heart system. The answer to that is no. Not only that, but as you upgrade your tunic, you take less damage, meaning you take more quarter heart hits.
Hold it!
Every Zelda title since Ocarina of Time has had a quarter heart system. Sure, it makes the games easier, but the older Zelda titles with the half heart system were kind of ridiculously hard simply because you only had half hearts.
Objection!
The Legend of Zelda Oracle of Ages and Seasons both had the half heart system. Your argument is invalid. Honestly though, does that really matter? Let's just take a look at the last two Zelda titles before this one. Spirit Tracks and Skyward Sword. They both had quarter heart systems. Skyward Sword actually had 6 hearts along with a quarter heart system. Just be happy that this game takes us back to 3 hearts. I rest my case.
The ugly. Unfortunately, this game is nowhere near perfect. The first problem being the energy bar you're given instead of items. This makes it more convenient, not running out of ammo, only energy. However, this kind of kills what made Zelda, Zelda. Having to use your resources wisely, and then having to either scavenge for them or purchase them when you run out. The painting and the magic wands, I can understand having an energy bar. However, the rest, bombs, arrows, boomerang, all don't need it. The game is ending. I'm not going to go too deep into it. However, the ending was predictable and dull as compared to both the plot twists thrown at us at the very end.
The running system was a good idea. Not being forced to do a particular dungeon because you didn't have all the dungeon goods was nice. However, the amount of rupees that are dropped are too high. You go into a dungeon. You're just going through and you go into this room. Kind of obvious when going into this room. You trap, you fight some monsters, you get a chest, you open it up, woohoo! 100 rupees! Get like 4 of those in one dungeon. And then you're out in Hyrule or Lorule exploring, and you're slicing and dicing your grass, and you're like, woohoo! 20 rupees everywhere! Everywhere. I mean, seriously. By the time you finish the first dungeon, if played correctly, or if you save enough money to do enough adventuring, you have enough rupees to rent every single item the game has to offer. Well, besides the sand rod, but that's because it was rented by someone else. But at that time, you can get every item available. Later on, you can buy items, and if you don't die, you could probably buy every single item by the time you can buy them. Sure, there's a punishment when you rent the items. If you die, you lose them and rent them again. But that's decent. But because of all the rupees you get, it doesn't feel like a punishment.
The verdict?
For a Zelda title that I was not willing to pick up because what The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time 3D looked like and how I feel as if they downgraded into this, it says a lot because I've owned every Zelda title out there. So I picked it up just for review purposes. But I'm glad I did. Which says a lot because, again, I didn't plan on picking up this Zelda title. there's a lot of things that this game does right. From changing enough things to make the game feel fresh, but keeping enough things the same to make it feel familiar. There are a couple of things I don't like about it, but they really don't impede the gameplay too much. The wrenching system could have been better. The energy bar system could have been replaced with something else. But again, these are just things that weren't really that bad. But the big question I have out there is, will this turn into a painting system? Will this energy bar replacing consumables? Will the renting system, will these make it into the next Zelda title? Or will they just be placed on the shelf with sailing, trains, flying, 4 links, wolves, transformation masks, the list just goes on. Will these just be ideas that are one and done, or will they continue to make it through the Zelda series? Anyway, I give The Legend of Zelda: A Link Between Worlds a 9 out of 10.